Uyghur prisoner Ekpar Asat was given a 15-year prison sentence in China following his return to that country from a State Department leadership training program here in the U.S. back in 2016. Prior to his imprisonment, Asat, an entrepreneur and philanthropist, founded a social media platform for Uyghurs.
And now House Democrats seek information from the State Department on Asat's case, noting to the United States Chinese ambassador that Asat has not spoken to his family since 2016. Before returning to China, Asat had told his sister he planned to return to the United States soon after he was detained. Attorney and president of the American Turkic International Lawyers Association, Rayhan Asat, she's the sister of Ekpar Asat. She joins us now for an update on that case. Rayhan, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Rayhan, could you just lay out exactly the case involving your brother, his imprisonment in China, and connect it to the larger imprisonment of millions of Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps in China?
My brother Ekpar is a tech entrepreneur, and he created this social media platform that any one of us in a free world enjoys, so that Uyghur community can be empowered. At the same time, he wants to provide a platform for many others who don't have these platforms to share their articles and so forth. And even the Chinese government on multiple occasions praised him as a positive force and a bridge builder between the local government and the Uyghur community. But after he came to the United States on a State Department-sponsored program called the International Business Leadership Program, immediately returning after the program, within days he was detained by the Chinese government and disappeared into the shadow of these concentration camps. So my brother's case should speak volume to the fact that even model citizens once held by the Chinese government as such are not spared. Not even children spared.
Rayhan, tell us about the last time that you saw your brother and your last communications with him, and if you have any idea of his status or where he is or what his experience is like right now.
Last time I saw him was in the United States. I saw him once in Washington, D.C., and then I saw him again in New York. And we just had a lovely dinner. He was so excited that, after this program, he's going to innovate his company. He was so inspired. And at the same time, I was about to graduate from Harvard Law School as a first Uyghur student. And he was so excited to come and join me to celebrate this moment and a milestone, if you will. But after he returned, since April 7, I haven't heard a word, and it's been more than 4 years, and I'm still counting.
Mm-hmm. And Rayhan, do you know other Uyghur activists here in the United States with similar stories? What is this punishment against Uyghurs who will come to the West, and why are they facing imprisonment there alongside so many others who have simply done nothing wrong?
Yeah, and the leaked document that New York Times documented shows that, the tone was set at the very top. The statements like absolutely no mercy to this community, or break their lineage, break their origin, break their roots, that these are the statements or political speeches of the Chinese government. So any person, Uyghur person, who has a foreign connection or sister like me or attending a State Department program are perceived to be like an extremist. So this goes to show that the government intends to not only to assimilate the Uyghur people, but this is like an arbitrary detention, mass detention. And we need to be very sure to call these like what it is. It has risen to the level of genocide because the government's intention is very clear. So what we have is men between certain age group who are detained, women are sterilized. 500,000 of Uyghur children are being separated from their family. So the Chinese government is using a multi-pronged approach to eliminate the Uyghur people as a whole. So it has risen to the level of genocide as we speak.
It's an absolute atrocity. And Rayhan, what has your experience been like trying to get help from the U.S. federal government? Who are you in contact with now, and what do you want them to do?
I had the pleasure of meeting with the Assistant Secretary of State, Secretary Destro, very recently. And, my fellow Harvard-educated lawyers, more than 85 lawyers, also asked the State Department and other agencies to intensify their effort to rescue my brother, but at the same time call for the Chinese government to cease its oppression of the Uyghur people. So what I'm hoping for from the U.S. government, in my brother's case, it gives justification and grounds for the U.S. to intervene and ask for his unconditional release. And second of all, as I laid out in my foreign policy article, this is a matter of life and death. It comes to a point where the U.S. government must declare this is genocide, because we don't want to be in a situation a few years down the road and looking into the survivors' eyes and say again, never again must we be shy in the face of evidence. Those were the words of President Clinton, and we don't want to make that mistake again. It's time for the U.S. to officially recognize what's happening to the Uyghur people amongst a genocide under the international law, so that we can catalyze other countries to join in a concerted effort to end the repression against my people.
Mm-hmm. And Rayhan, where can people find more about your organization? How can they support both your brother's case and action for all Uyghur Muslims?
So I have a change.org petition, and I'm very active on social media, Twitter. I hope people would follow me and spread awareness, because I want every American to know about this, because public opinion matters. The Chinese government is very sensitive towards criticism of its human rights track record of violations. So the American public must speak out. Write to your congresswomen and congressmen and ask them about Ekpar's case, what they are doing. And that's what I'm hoping for.
Well, Rayhan, thank you so much. We're so glad to have you here today.
Thank you, Rayhan.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely.
It's our pleasure. We'll have more Rising for you after this.